And we're going to label this voice memo as well.
Hello, you've reached Interpretation Services at Northwestern Medicine in downtown
So
Chicago.
she doesn't like me leaving a message on her direct line, I guess. Good to know. I'm not going to leave my last name nor my phone number. She has it. And that's the only reason why I'm recording this.
Dr. EILEEN Johnson, Manager of Patient Relations and Interpretation Services. Please leave your confidential message and she will return your call within 24 hours. Thank you.
Record your message at the tone.
Hi, Dr. Johnson. This is Jamie calling you back. I asked in the last message if we could set up an appointment to talk because with post-concussive syndrome, the diagnosis neurologist had given me, it's actually really difficult to deal with time. And I'm not sure when you called. I didn't recognize the phone number. I'm so sorry I didn't pick up, but I wasn't expecting you to call, I guess. I was going to wait for your message. And if there's anything that I know about advocacy and survivors leading their recovery, it's that they really have to create the boundaries. Just know that when you had called, you originally said that we had spoken before, and this was a follow-up, and we have never spoken before. So just that initial interaction has made it pretty difficult for me to, I don't want to call it focus exactly. I'm very focused, but not to relive the behaviors of the doctors at Northwestern Memorial Hospital as well as those at Patient Relations. I left you a couple questions, so maybe if you and I can't come up with an appointment time, you can just answer those questions for me. They were, what happens when a patient reports rape? What's the policy? Because you tell me what the policy is and I'll tell you what happened. I want to know if Dr. Fang, first name Sherry, was a licensed psychiatrist when she was seeing me, and what steps, well, you know what, I didn't actually ask you that before, and also if the people at Patient Relations continue to work there or if they're really not connected to Northwestern Memorial Hospital, since that was a repeated excuse. Their names are Carrie, Mark, and Marco, okay? So maybe you can leave me those answers, because I'm not going to put myself in a position to be basically told more excuses when my PTSD or my diagnosis of it was stemming from violence against kids with special needs. I'm assuming you have read the initial, my records, and I'll tell you what records were not accepted, PT, OT, vestibular, and I'll tell you what those psychiatrists and neurologists decided to do. Also, a new question, but did John Orsini and Jen Wooten send you to me? Because they were the last contacts I had with Northwestern Memorial Hospital, and that's why when you said initially that we had spoken or that you were following up, maybe I misunderstood that, so please just explain it, but that set off a bunch of alarm bells. All right, also, I will be home most of the day today. If you'd like to set up a time to talk, that would be great. If I get a phone call back from your number, I am just going to let it go to voicemail. All right? Please answer the questions or set up a time for us to talk, and I can prepare for that. Thank you so much. Have a great day. You have my number on file. Bye-bye. Okay, that's how you do it. All right, so again, survivors, victims lead their recovery, and don't let a psychologist push you around, because she did say that, and then she apologized later for my experience with the hospital. And it's like, listen, it's not about my experience. It's about saying to you that you have a philosophy that doesn't fit with recovery, and it's similar to the school. Now, my lower half is kind of shaking right now, but I can tell you it's less intense than what it used to be, because the ripples of chronic pain aren't as bad, and that's why I did have to wait lots of time to make sure physically I can handle this, because my reaction to it is to describe it, and apparently that's manic, but it's not. It's literally like the best thing ever. I'm going to get back to my life one way or another. All right, any questions? I record everything, and this is the day to start recording again because it's election day, so I got to get out of my house. This is the only deadline that matters, which is to vote, period. And because I always vote the day of, usually after work, that means I'm not going to change my habits, because anything familiar is going to be helpful to this when you have concussion, post-concussion, a diagnosis of PTSD, which is really just like a recognition that how many more fucking lies and excuses is this school gonna make? OSHA, Employment Opportunity Office, and I was in federal court pro se. So it's a little bit like, listen, you don't know where I came from, the origin of this story. You don't know, doctors at Northwestern, because I didn't start seeing you until 2015 when I was well entrenched in a bullshit battle to make sure that I had no gag order, because eventually I would talk about these issues. Why? Because it's absolutely disgusting. You can't tit for tat, quid pro quo pro with teachers, parents over kids with special needs when they're a protected class, okay? They're protected. So what they did was wrong, and they can't be let to continue to do that bullshit. They have to change their practices or they don't get the accolades. Let's totally fill the school with kids that already know how to read and write from a neighborhood community where moms don't work because their parents or because their husbands make a ton of money, but that means that they have to have a hobby, and it's great that you're involved with your family, but there is a boundary line where it's a little like, dude, get your own life. And that's my experience, because my ex-husband had his mom at home raising him, and I thought that's the thing you want to do, because I had parents that both worked. So I was raised by other people, family members, friends of my family, and I went to, I guess I had a babysitter, sort of, but just like in the off and on times, if my dad had something to do, and I couldn't go with them, because oftentimes I was actually hanging out with him at work, because he worked in an office setting, so I could come with him, because, I wasn't there all the time. But anyway, the point is I didn't know that you don't want somebody like in your family raising you. My bad. So my ex didn't like his mom. He thought it was worse because she held him accountable. And that's how I would tell her, wow, you should maybe do something with the youth, or your knowledge of insurance. Wow, that can really help people understand that if you make mistakes, big mistakes, you can get in big trouble. So that's her daily experience of people fucking up their lives because of bad choices, like not paying their car insurance and getting their car repoed, or drinking and driving and getting deweys and then having to pay a lot of money to get out of those issues. I mean, I get her anxiety, but you can't use that as an excuse anymore, period. So I'm going to explain and talk about my experience. This message for this doctor has been something bubbling up, and I'm not going to take it anymore from anyone. Am I still recording this side? Oh my gosh, let me not stop.